Where's my purse? Welcome to the madness. My name is Em, and I am just now at 42 years old learning that I have ADHD. And suddenly things begin to fall into place. So here we are. I'm not entirely sure how to begin this, honestly. Officially, I am still in the midst of my ADHD assessment, but after 2 sessions, my therapist is pretty much certain that I have it, and we just are finishing the rest of the assessment because we have to. I'm not really surprised by this. I've known my whole life that something was wrong with me, and it was reinforced daily in just about everything that I did and everyone I interacted with. It's nice to have a name for it, finally, to know that I really didn't have any control over it and there was no changing it, no matter how hard I tried. I guess my family was right. I am different, I'm weird, and I do not fit. I wish that they had loved me for my uniqueness, but that is definitely a more difficult path, and I know that I was annoying to them. We function very differently, or maybe we don't and they hide it better, but I could never hide anything. Anyway, we will get into all of it over time. I know that while I am different, there are a lot of women like me out there, and I am hoping that this podcast finds them. I know that I personally have found comfort and understanding from listening to other women tell their stories, and it's time to tell mine. I hope this helps someone. I know it's going to help me. So, I want to talk about the process of getting a diagnosis. So I've been questioning this for quite a while. If you are on ADHD TikTok, I'm sure you have seen videos about various ADHD symptoms, specifically ones in women because they are different than how ADHD is normally perceived. And I started seeing a lot of the ones that pertain specifically to women. And they just fit me to a T. And it just kind of blew my mind. It was like suddenly understanding something about myself that I've just never, that's always been a question. I had a very specific idea of what ADHD looked like. I was in high school back when they were first beginning to kind of actually diagnose people, and they were beginning to medicate kids with Prozac or whatever. And I was raised with a complete distrust of therapists, medications, all that stuff. It took me so long to get help because of this. I suffered for a really long time because I thought that I was weak if I admitted any of these things and asked for help. And then if I did ask for help, it just kind of got ignored too, you know. Now, would it have been any better if they had cared about why I was acting differently and had gotten me treatment? Maybe or maybe not, honestly. I can't really imagine what that would be like. And I also know that those early meds turned kids into zombies, which I don't think I would want, but at the same time, it would have been nice to know what I was up against instead of just feeling like I was wrong my whole life, but not really understanding anything else. Oh well, it is what it is. Let's discuss more recent events. So like I said, I am mid-assessment. I tried bringing this up once before with my therapist, but we got kind of derailed by other stuff and just never got back to it. I've had a bunch of stuff going on. Fast forward another year, and I'm starting to feel a little off, just like my meds weren't working super well. And being me, I ignored this for a long time. Too long. But I did have a doctor's appointment scheduled, so I figured I'd just bring it up then. And I did. But it didn't go super well. My doctor, for some reason, got it in her head that I might be bipolar, and if so, she didn't want to mess with my medications, which I completely understand because this stuff is tricky and sensitive, but it definitely didn't help the mindset that I was already in. And, that's not even including the regular trauma that I get from going to the doctor, because even now I dread it and I panic. Yeah, not helpful. So I left there completely freaked out. I contacted my therapist as soon as possible. And when I got to see her, I was even worse than when I had been at the doctor. Even in my low moments, I can usually find moments of relief, or I can meditate or something, but this just felt different. My therapist pointed out that they probably needed to tweak my meds because I've been on the same dosage for so long. It's been years. And she also took me through the DSM for bipolar disorder. There are some similarities, yes, but not even close to meeting most of the criteria. I'm depressed and I have complex PTSD and apparently ADHD, but I'm not bipolar. I am lucky that my therapist specializes in ADHD and ADD. She's pretty certain I have one of them. She said that women don't always have the H part as often, but I don't know. I think it might be applicable to me, but we'll see when I finish the assessment. I definitely have it in one form or another, and we've gone through most of the assessment already. Like I said, we're just finishing it as a formality at this point. So in the midst of this terrible low time where I'm just feeling off, I have to call the doctor's office again and inform them that I am not bipolar and that I really need my meds adjusted. And I just think it's kind of wild that at the time when I am feeling just my absolute worst, like the lowest I can feel, I have to do something that to me is one of the most awkward and uncomfortable things. And I just get so exhausted having to advocate for myself just over and over and over again. This shit is really hard. Oh, anyway, this is why I'm starting the podcast, because I'm going through it and I figure, why not share it and see if I can help anybody else, I guess. I don't know. But let's lighten the mood a little bit now. I want to explain where the name of the podcast came from. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But anyway, I have two things that I say before I leave the house. And the one that I say every single time before I leave the house is, where's my purse? Because I can never remember where I left it, because of course I could never put it in the same place. I know some people have like designated places for things, but that just like doesn't work for me. I have a few places that it could be. I always have like just a handful of places that are possibilities, but never just one. Wow, it's so surprising that I have ADHD. Anyway. So I say where's my purse so regularly that it's kind of became a family joke that my memoir should be called Where's My Purse? And then one day it just kind of dawned on me that it would be a really good podcast, especially now that I have the ADHD diagnosis and I'm jumping into a deep dive about all the information I can find out about it. Why not share, you know? So, yeah, every single time, where's my purse? And usually it's preceded by, I gotta pee. Woohoo! Being a middle-aged woman is such a blast. It's also super fun to go to the doctor and have her call me middle-aged for the first time. That just happened. I tried to explain to her that I'm going to live to be 100, but she wouldn't listen. And I'm not even joking that much because my relatives live into their 90s pretty often, but who knows? So anyway, here it begins. I hope that someone listens to this podcast and I hope it helps. Here's to learning who we are and accepting and loving that person. Peace.
A Frap Media production.